Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the fifth and final show for you tonight on this Bases Christmas special, hosted by the beautiful Caroline Stevens, is with Mike Emery. Stand by, Caroline. Mike's hot.
Welcome to a Stepping Stones Basis Project Christmas special. It's 2018 and we're looking forward to Christmas. I'm sharing this studio with a chap called Mike Emery. Mike Emery has been fighting the 5G onslaught. So, Mike, over to you. What's been happening with your Orgone bubble machine?
Yeah, it's phenomenal, darling. It's like an update. We've done the bubble reports before, so this would
right
be,
for the benefit of the audience. So most of my followers probably not seen any of your 5G machine making activities. And I know you made one in, I think, September here in the studios, didn't you, in the conservatory? So what's the purpose of this contraption that you made? Sorry, it's called a contraption. I don't know what else to call it. Is it cement in a bucket?
Essentially, yeah. Even easier now. We refined the technology where you can get started with your bubble project with a concrete block.
Right.
You touch a violet ray wand to a concrete block, and it does what we call bubble up, and the energy comes out, and it can be overwhelming, and it's euphoric. It hits you in the heart chakra and the throat chakra.
So this is coming from the 5G rays you're talking about.
It'll not only block the 5G waveforms, in the microwave from the but it'll also absorb it. The more that wave that comes into the organic, we use the word organic instead of the other word because their U.S. government is cracking down on the other word that Wilhelm Reich.
Terminology.
Yeah, and for the reason that it works.
Right. Okay.
They're validating it for us.
Well, we're concerned in the UK because we've got big movements now with people like Mark Steele, John Kitson talking about 5G. And occasionally I will talk about it too. It's a crime against humanity. Our parliamentarians are not talking about it. They're not talking about a lot of things, to be honest, in Parliament. It would be nice if they told the truth occasionally. So, this 5G rollout, we've got project areas in places like Gateshead and I think Southend. And this is causing an increase in nosebleeds, dementia, types of cancers. How did you come across your contraption?
Oh, well, what he invented is basically a series of a capacitance field.
Yeah.
Now, a capacitance field is just two metal plates. This is very simple. And
what type of metal?
Any kind of conductive metal.
Right.
That gets charge accumulation. So if you put negative on one plate, the positive and the exact opposite will appear on the other plate. But in between, there are no vibrations, which means no cycles per second, which means no time or all time. Well, is there, right there. And the best example of this is it's called the Ciba-Geigy effect, which is a patented process. And
where was it patented?
In Switzerland and worldwide.
And it was kept. I mean, who actually patented it? Who made it?
Ciba-Geigy is a big Swiss fertilizer firm.
Yeah.
And the grad students come there in the summertime, do their crazy experiments. This is 20 years ago, okay? And one of their crazy experiments was they took two 9-inch by 3-inch aluminum plates and they stuck them in the ground and planted genetically modified wheat seeds in between, and they connected two plates to a 9-volt battery, okay? Positive and negative, and they had to be quite close together to get the capacitance effect because it only had 9 volts. And then when the wheat broke ground, they took the plates away, and what grew up there is what's called diploid wheat, which is the aboriginal form of wheat on this planet. And they harvested the plants, and there was not one genetically modified piece of DNA anywhere in the plant. And so they went on, they did the same thing with ferns, spelts, pollywogs, and trout. The fern that came back, nobody recognized, is so ancient. And the trout that came back was a hook nose and very much like a salmon, very aggressive. And so, excuse me, what's in there? Because this is what we're dealing with. Okay, this is what Wilhelm Reich's material is, or the organic material we call it, is a conductive plate. The way he first started, conductive plate, then a good wood. The organic part of it was a really high quality wood, and then another conductive plate of a high quality metal, copper is what he used, and it's a capacitance. It's a capacitor, same thing. And so, the reason that these organisms, like the trout and the ferns and the wheat, all came back in their aboriginal state is because that's the information that's in the mind of God in the form of images. Because it can't be any other form, there's no vibrations in there.
Right.
Yeah. And those images are then imposed upon that seed material that's there, and that the seed material has no choice but to accept the images.
Right.
Which is what everything is image and emotion management. Matter doesn't exist. It's all consciousness, and consciousness is manipulated via images and emotions. Okay? When the emotions connect up, it's in the writings. Miles and I did all of this stuff, and I put it up here, exactly how the universe is constructed. And one of the things that nobody's ever answered is the root vibe of 7. And it takes 7 parallel flat 2D image only realms to make one physical realm. And so what we're doing with these parallel plates is that's where we're going. We're going into the flat 2D. We're installing images down there that we want, and they're being made manifest. For example, there has not been one hurricane make landfall as a hurricane since May of this year, once we first started doing this. 0. And it's not just us bubblers. There's another crew called translators. A guy named Harry Rhodes got translators. And they do a very good job of clearing out weather patterns all over everywhere. And so do we, on the bubble crew. It's amazing. The magical things that are going on around the bubble, because it's just like the magic that the Ciba-Geigy occurred. You got families that have allergies that don't have allergies. You got 2- and 3-year-old children that are normally nuts that are no longer nuts.
Wow.
The freaking dog stops barking and stuff like that, as well as the neighbors straighten out, And
is this because of, this is counteracting the impact of 5G? Or just the EMFs?
Just all EMF. 5G has no chance whatsoever. 5G has no chance whatsoever. This is just like...
So we all need to make one of these machines.
Get this. Now you can imagine the kind of power that there is in a directed energy weapon, like what took out Paradise, California. Okay,
What happened in Paradise, California?
Oh,
you mean what, the fires?
Yeah, they cooked the place.
Yes.
Yeah, where there's, the wheels on the cars are melted.
Yes.
And the tree's still green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. One of our bubble people lived there, and she had a bubble operating. Unfortunately, she didn't have it operating on her house. Her house got toasted, okay? But where the bubble is pristine, hasn't been touched. Huh? And it's right there, right behind her house. And she has a Indian medicine wheel, and she put the bubble in the middle of that, the bubble piece. And the directed energy weapon had no effect whatsoever over that bubble, that round, which there's pictures of it on the Bubble Tech site. You can see it.
Right.
And so 5G, is that anywhere near as strong as directed energy weapon, I wonder? Probably not.
I thought 5G
has no chance.
Isn't it 25 to 100 gigahertz?
Doesn't matter what its frequency is.
Really?
There's no frequency. Hello.
Okay. Right, okay. So this is us fighting back. And how much would it cost to make a machine?
The way that you make the machine right now is you get yourself, in the UK, you get yourself on Amazon, you get yourself a violet ray wand. It's used in salons for tightening up people's skin and regrowing hair. Okay?
How much is one of those?
30 quid.
Right.
Maybe less. And then you go out and find the oldest concrete block you can find, and you touch the wand to the block. That's it. You got yourself a bubble. And if you're a kinesthetic person, where you can feel things, you'll feel it right away within seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, and it hits you in the heart chakra first, you know, and ultimately you get your tingles head to toe, and that's anytime you go around it. Yeah.
How far does it protect?
The very large distances. It protects as far as you ask it to. Yeah. It's our bubble genie is a reflection of our heart, and it has one purpose, and that's to be of service to us idiots.
Right. So it'll cover the house.
It'll cover the whole block. Yeah. Easily. You can, and then you can spread intentions. We've spread intentions, and I'm surprised that there's 5G bothering anybody out. But I'll go back to the Bubble Tech crew. We can simply stop, bring to a halt all negative effects of 5G throughout England. I don't think we've done that intention, but there's about 20, 30 bubbles in England.
Yeah.
And we can get them all together and say, okay, we want to convert all of the negative energy produced by 5G to being healthy energy. And seeing how that's the thing about the bubble is that it's proving that we are the God of this place. Because if everything is just consciousness, and we, by our imagination and our intention, properly installed in 2D down in the seed level and the capacitance level, since we can do that and change physical matter, which we are doing, okay, ad nauseum, right? Then, it was our imagination that made it in the first place. And we just changed our mind.
Right. So this could save humanity.
This could save the entirety, yeah. It'll save the world.
So
We can go to the bottom of the Marianas Trench and intend that it cleans up. It's 50 times more polluted down there than a dead Chinese river, because all the PCBs have come along, and all the ocean trenches are like that worldwide. But Marianas being the deepest.
Where's Mariana?
It's off Indonesia, in between Indonesia and Asia.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And that's one of the dirtiest places.
At the bottom of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But amazingly, the critters down there are still alive, having no problems, you know.
They've adapted.
Yeah. The other thing that the bubble tech does is that anybody that's working together with it and you're doing intentions together, you become telepathic. You become very connected, you know, which is what we're supposed to be, you know. And the whole of humanity needs to become telepathic. And so that...
Isn't this to do with the third eye?
Yeah. And it does do that. It does do that. It opens your third eye. And we have a chi activation exercise that opens the third eye very powerfully, you know, and it's really amazing, you know, the way that it works. It's just, well, the way it works is heavy duty breathing, like fire breath, Kundalini fire breath, and Wim Hof primarily, you know. And the more you do these heavy duty breathing exercises, the lungs create DMT, dimethyltryptophan, with the spirit molecule that cleans the pineal, activates and cleans the pineal, activates and cleans the pineal. Hey, idiot, wake up, okay. Breathe, okay, breathe hard and heavy, get yourself euphoric, you know, hyperventilated, and then once you're in that euphoric system, in that euphoric feeling, you say to your bubble genie or to the universe, I am sending euphoric healing to Hurricane so-and-so. And then you see a bubble over it, and then you go dance with it, okay? Because everything always dances, because the music of the spheres is there. Everything has to dance, you know? And there's always a gestaltic consciousness of the hurricane, of anything, of a mountain, the trees. So you go hang out with that gestalt, do a little dance, and the hurricane will take up your intention and say, okay, no more hurricane.
So, Mike, what are you going to be speaking to us about tomorrow?
I don't know. It's not tomorrow yet.
All right. Well, Mike, thank you so much for explaining about your bubble machine. and we'll look forward to seeing your speech tomorrow.
Alrighty.
And to the audience back at home, please take a look at one of the BASES project films way back in September of this year, where Mike actually made a machine, and you can make one yourself at home. So thank you so much for watching a Stepping Stones BASES project combined production. I'm Caroline Stevens, and I hope to see you again soon. And happy Christmas. Thank you, and goodbye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are very, very, very privileged to announce Mike Emery at the BASES Project live here on stage here at the Christmas lectures. Mike is an academic, brilliant mind, and has done some work with Tom Beardon some years ago using scalar energetics, scalar weapon systems. And there's a whole realm of science which is suppressed on things. And crucially, the kind of technology that we've just been talked about, 5G and the EM waves and stuff that's going on with that, but also the hidden abuse of Wilhelm Reich's technology through those communication systems, we are able to counter with the creation of this. This is like a miniature Silbury Hill upside down, in that multi-layered conductive, non-conductive layers with other nice fancy things in it. And we built one of these with Mike and the beautiful Christina Marie there with holding in the marin. Everybody give Christina Marie a we had a wonderful time playing Blue Peter. So without further delay, Mike Emery, continue and welcome to BASES 2018 Christmas Lunchtime Lectures.
Clap hard, clap hard. Clap hard, wakes you up. Come on, it's all the chakras. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It's gonna be. I'm sorry, these guys that they're talking about 5G and all that, they really don't know. Okay, 40 governments can watch you go to the loo. 40 governments buy the cell phone system. It's a microwave radar system. Okay, they can watch every keystroke. The amazing thing is we're still alive. They are weapon systems. The cell phone system weapon, and 5G is just another one. And whether they're going to do it or not is highly unlikely. Okay, but they're definitely trying to put the fear into us with that. So if you can fear your lamp pole, don't worry about it. We'll fix it with Sandbox 101 right there. That thing, and other similar ones like it. It will completely eliminate all of the bad causes of cell phone and 5G and actually turn them into healing energies. This is what you can do. And the neat thing about it is that you don't need to make something like that. You can get yourself a concrete block. You can order a violet ray wand from Amazon today. It'll be in your house tomorrow. You can get yourself a concrete block and you can do it in one day. Touch a violet ray wand to the oldest concrete block you can find, and you immediately eliminate all of the EF in your area, okay? And it can be a very large area. And so it's like, how are we going to get 5G to stop? Get 100,000 idiots to march on Westminster, or have everybody grab a block of concrete and in one day, and you are not confined to that area in order to be protected. If you have a crystal, or better yet, a little Orgone piece that you charge up on your device, you are always connected to your device. You always have a bubble around you, and you will never be bothered by 5G, Wi-Fi, or nothing. It's gone. It ceases to exist. And then you can actually, and this has been done, blot out cell towers to where they won't work. Let me give you just a tiny smidgen of how much more powerful 2D energy, that's what this is, 2D energy, is than 3D energy, okay? And the ultimate 3D energy weapon that we probably know of is the directed energy weapons, like where they hit recently Paradise, California, and Malibu, and all those places. What they're doing is taking out cabal units is what they're doing, really. But anyway, we have a lady that lived in Paradise. Her home it doesn't exist anymore. You know, there's just but out back, she had a medicine wheel with a bubble in the middle of it, and all the way around that, there's nothing but green, completely unfazed by the directed energy weapon. It's like, excuse me, and that's with a 30 watt, violet ray one stopped. Probably is what's the most powerful weapon known to man. Stopped it, like that. And the U.S. government has known since Reich's time that this energy will completely eliminate war. No more war. And that includes between people, in communities. You can harmonize entire communities. And this is already happening. Not only that, we're seeing mass healings. This week, just in the last couple of weeks, that happened, where a whole bunch of kids got cured of a certain condition. I can't talk about more than that, but it is mass healing. So it's basically next steps, mass enlightenment, okay? So you can all be walking on water and healing by the touch pretty quick. You do every night in your dreams anyway, and it's only a matter of marrying that up, and this does that. It marries you up to your freedom. It gives you entire freedom to be able to do whatever it is that you can think of to do. Now, it's going to be a while, not very long, before it's worldwide. And the energy will simply, it's the end of duality. It's the end of all of these problems, the end of the governments. And here's the other aspect that people aren't too aware of, that Trump talked about in his inaugural address. It's release of the advanced technologies. Well, this is the most advanced technology known to man. This one right here, okay? And because it eliminates the need for all the other rest of the technologies. And the other technologies that do exist, that are ready to come out, just like that, are replicators. What Jared Rand, if anybody knows about Jared Rand, you can look him up. He talks about what he calls gravity scooters, which are just a Grebennikov flying platform, if you know about that. The cavity structure effect based on it's in harmony with the ethers, essentially. And the same as the Ark of the Covenant, it's in harmony with the ethers. It levitated. All superconductors levitate. And so that's what the Grebennikov flying platform does. Because of the size and shape of the honeycomb inside of the bees and the beetles, they are able to levitate. And that's what Grebennikov found out. And when you make a flying platform, which is in harmony with the ethers, when you work with the ethers, things get really simple. When you get on a flying platform, you're in this bubble. You're in a bubble anyway. Your aura is a bubble that has it. We all have it. Everything has it. Everything that you see has an aura around it, otherwise you don't see it. Because matter doesn't exist, it's all consciousness and just manipulations of consciousness. And the nifty thing about the bubble technology is that it allows us to go into where we can actually manipulate consciousness and have magical things like what you see here. The list goes on. I'll just give you an example. Those are the reports. Those are reports by people, magical stuff. Continue, look at that. It just goes on and on and on. People getting cured of, what's that one say? I can't see it.
Which one?
Well, just one here. That one right there.
Yeah. James Sykes, one of my terminal clients, has had a significant turn. His breathing is better, his O2 levels are improved, and he's talking about getting well. The other has stage 4 kidney failure and has started walking with his wife again. The swelling in his legs is less. The doctors of both have yet to fully assess the situation. What's that? Oh, grief. Sorry. Fully assess the situation as the chances have to show a trend over time. James Sykes.
Yeah. And it goes on and on like that. We're talking. Yeah, that's just individual healings. We're talking, we've had mass healings that are the sorting out of genetic defects, including shape-shifting, and then the kids are changing their facial features. This has happened in the last couple of weeks. That's the thing about a bubble, and it happened. The bubble was set up on a Friday. On the Tuesday, they reported 22 kids had been cured, okay? And then on the Thursday, it was 26 in an area of a city which is a very high concentration of bubbles, and bam, like that, Friday to Tuesday, okay? And then come Thursday, they go to bed at night, they wake up in the morning where their facial features are changing, Yeah, I mean, excuse me, this is not difficult. This is Sandbox 101, Yeah, that's a made up one. If you get a real old piece of concrete, it's more powerful than this made up one, we found out since we made this, okay? We've been, the bubble tech community, this bubble tech, has been finding all kinds of amazing things, that we can use. Look at all those all the magic. Yeah, there it is, bubble tech. Get on the bubble tech page, and you just start reading. It'll blow your socks off.
172 comments on this.
172 comments? Yeah, 172 comments. Yeah, it just goes on and on and on. It's page after page of comments, and stuff that people are doing and what their bubbles are doing and so on and so forth. Now, there is some cases where bubbles will cause negative effects to come around, and that's basically cleansing, okay? And it's like psychoanalysis. The way that you get the way you get rid of your shit is you take a look at it, and then what you say, well, that's shit, but it's funny, it goes away. In the case of the bubble, when you look at it, it's euphoric. Bam, gone, canceled. The karma is converted to euphoria, and it has no effect over you. Gone, just like that. And so the more you have of these kind of energies around you, the more healing. Not only yourself, but trees, bees. Out in the country, we have these out in the country. All the good critters come around, and all the rats and mice leave. Not only do they leave, a lot of times they sacrifice themselves, because the euphoric energy coming out of the bubble supplants the fear that they have in every corpuscle of their body, and it's like for them being in a microwave, And for that reason, dark people, idiots, can't come around either, And we've already found that, Huh?
Magic protection.
Yeah, it's a magic protection device for massive areas. And most of them go infinite simply because they work in the four-sided ethers. Just to give you a real quick, a little bit of technology, not much. They're deadly. I mean, this is about as simple as it gets. Okay? You leave it as long as you like, yeah. What you have there is what Reich originally did was copper plate, good wood, copper plate, and 5 of them. Okay, and then he made a box, and you go inside the box, and all your capillaries dilate, and you're like pulsating all over from being inside that box. Okay, with these devices bubbled up like the way we can do it out in the middle of the field. We can do what Reich did in a very expensive box out in the middle of the field. And I can show you pictures of it. And not only that, when you do it out in the middle of the field like that, you can reduce the temperature, the ambient temperature. That's normal. Or you can increase it if it's getting too cold. And you want it warmer? No problem. The really big thing about these things is it connects to your heart. And there's a living being that comes from these things that inhabits them, and it's a reflection of your heart. We've tested it, dowsing, then shamanins, and everybody. The bubble genie is a reflection of your heart. It has one purpose: to be of service, euphoric service, and it will manifest anything you ask for in euphoria, including, excuse me very much, since we are God, and that's what this proves. Then all 5G, Wi-Fi, cell phone radiation now is healing. Thank you very much. Okay, and that's actually happened. If you read in here and you read in, there's all kinds of people that are saying, I'm no longer affected by 5G or Wi-Fi, or people that are energy sensitive like that, gone. And we're talking right now, like you set up your bubble, following day, gone. Yeah, and sometimes within minutes, we bubbled up one for Sandra, and in 10 minutes, her allergies gone. You'll see other people talking about allergies haven't been gone. It's like, oh my God, this is hot. Okay, so the little bit of technology that there is you got the parallel plates. Okay, that's a capacitor or an inductor, they're called. And if you put negative on one plate, it will induct the positive equal on the opposite plate. And most of the time we actually hook up the positive to that, but you don't need to. All you're going to need to do is connect it to ground. You got negative going on this side, it's going to balance out like that, right? Capacitors or analog amplifiers is how they work. It's an amplification system. When you cross there, and whatever intentions you put in there, get amplified. The other thing about the capacitance field is that there's no vibrations. In between the plates, there's no vibrations, which means no cycles per second, which means no seconds, which means all time, or no time, or all time, or all things. And it does amazing stuff. The Ciba-Geigy effect is the patented, irrefutable process. Patented, okay? And what they did was they took genetically modified wheat seeds to start with, and they planted them on 2 9-inch by 3-inch aluminum plates. Ciba-Geigy is a big Swiss fertilizer firm, and the grad students come there in the summertime, do their crazy experiments. Okay, well, this is one of the crazy experiments. 9-inch by 3-inch aluminum plates connected to a 9-volt battery. So it had to be pretty close together in order to get the capacitance effect. And so the seeds were in between that. And then 3 days later, the grass broke ground. They took the capacitor thing away. And what grew up there is what's called diploid wheat, which is the aboriginal form of wheat on this planet. And its DNA is very close to ours. And it grows along the ground and then pops up and heads out within 6 to 8 weeks. It was a lot windy back then, so it didn't stick up like wheat does now these days. And then they went on to spelts, ferns, pollywogs, and trout. The ferns that came back, nobody recognized because they're so ancient. The trout that came back, we had a hook nose and very aggressive like a salmon, And so basically, what caused the change in those seeds? How did you change the genetics? Okay? And I mean, big time change. The GMO seeds, they harvested the plants, and there was no GMO material in it at all. Didn't exist, gone. From capacitance. So, I mean, anything bad is going to go away, including GMO. It heals. It cleans the air, the water, the soil, the plants, the animals, and the idiots. We all get cleaned up because of it. And resistance is futile. You can't stop it because it works in we've got etheric realms, circular, 4-sided, 5-sided, 6, 7, and 8-sided I'm aware of. And I've written down the properties of all the smaller ones. The 7 and 8-sided is planetary level. I know how it works, but I haven't bothered to write it down. Yeah. Anyway, so you got capacitance. You got no cycles per second. You have your information in there, and that information is in what form? There's no cycles, there's no vibrations. So the only form that it can be in is as an image that doesn't have any polarity, because you don't have right angle phase angle between the electric and magnetic components, that they're parallel, and in between there is all potential. And the way that potential is expressed in reality is it's images. What do you see? When you open your eyes. All right. So when you put your image information in there telepathically, that's the other thing that this thing does, is that it quite literally will impose telepathy on people that work with it, especially if you got two of you that are working together at any distance. Okay, you become telepathic, and especially kinesthetic is easiest because the feeling is the first form, you know, and that feeling energy we're going to see if we can manifest in you tonight, so that you can feel. This bubble's not on because we don't have the violet ray wand, but it's still producing energy. Janet can feel it, and some of the other you guys can feel it. You know, it you know, it's no slouch. Yeah, you can feel it on here. Yeah, I can. You know, Janet and I are very kinesthetic. I ran into Janet, you know, downstairs, and the first thing she starts talking about is negative green, which is, you know, which leads to gray, which is where this leads to, you know, and how can you have that happen, you know, come to this, and the person sits down right across, and she knows that this is where, that going to the gray, all of us as spiritual beings, which is just an orb, okay, is going to wind up in the gray with total freedom to go anywhere in the multiverse like that, okay, instantaneously. Oh, this is exciting information, guys. This is talking cleaning all of everything because you clean the ethers. But I do want to give homage to this room, okay? And it's been the same for over 100 years. And what's gone on here is phenomenal. And Ben, the last year, he had a vision. When everything was cleaned out, he was standing there, he had a vision of a wedding reception in the 1920s. And he was standing there watching a wedding reception with the fire in the fireplace and people smoking cigarettes, you know, and all of that going on. Okay, excuse me very much. What's the form of that sequences of events that he experienced? Answer, images. Okay, well then, what form are they, 2D or 3D? If they were 3D, you would have to go through all memories, everything that's happened in this room to get to that one before you could remember it, before you could call up the image. Yeah. But because the image comes up like that, anytime you use your memory, it's 2D. You know? Cannot be 3D. You know? And here, you're getting blasted into 2D. You got no choice. Okay? And what images you stick in there get manifest. Whole kinds of people are manifesting stuff. The bubble genie manifests stuff for you that you don't even ask for. They know you need. It happens. This is happening. Huh? It's mind-boggling. Yeah? And this is your freedom. Yeah? Whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing and start getting in the bubble right now. You want to solve all these problems we've been talking about? No problem. Sandbox 101. There you go. Go find a concrete block and a violet ray wand for 30 quid from Amazon. In the discussion. Where you go. Bam. You know, and people that are energy, that's one of the problems is that there's not a lot of people that are real energy sensitive and able to feel this. Okay? You know, here, I'm sure that most of us are able to, and I'm going to go into the next setup, the next thing that we're going to do here now, that John and I did yesterday, okay? And that is Merlin's chi activation exercise. You do Merlin's chi activation exercise in the bubble field, or just on your own. You don't even need a bubble. You will go to cloud 9.
Let's do it.
You will go to cloud 9. Your third eye and your crown chakra will be opened up. You'll start being able to see out your third eye, okay? Right away, you know, within a week, generally, you know, maybe it takes 2 weeks. But the trick is to do it. And you know how much it costs? 0. Now, Merlin's chi activation exercise is a combination of a number of different technologies that have been around for a long time. For example, the Taoist secrets of love, they're also known as the Taoist microcosmic orbit, where you orbit energy from your root chakra up to the cave of Brahman to up here, and then you let it out of there, and you force it up there with your tongue. The tongue touches the roof of your mouth, forces it up. You fold your tongue back, so the bottom of your tongue is touching the roof of the mouth, and it acts like a switch, and it draws the energy up your spine, right into the cave of Brahman. Then when you let the tongue go, all the energy flows down. This is natural. You know, you think about doing it, and you only have to think about doing it a couple of times, and after that it happens automatically because it's natural. Because everything has a recycle, you know, set because of the energy form that we have around us called an anu, A-N-U. First name of God in the Babylonian text, Sumerian text, and Vedas has the 2 male forms of God. You know, I lived in a monastery too, learned all this stuff. You know, and well, you should, yeah, it's in my writings, and the anu is the male form of God, has the 2 male forms of God.
Can you get us to do it now?
Yeah, okay. Oh.
Oh, sorry, you lost it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see you put it there.
Okay, so the chi activation exercise. It's a little, I'm sorry, it's a tiny bit complicated. You got to pay attention to what you're doing. You got to coordinate yourself. You got to coordinate your body, come into harmony with your body, and make it do what you tell it to do. You know? And you will have the most amazing experience. And what it is breathing, like over-breathing, you know, hyperventilation, and primarily kind of following Wim Hof, kind of following other, you know, Kundalini rising and rebirthing and on like that. You know, breathing does wonderful things for people. Why? Why does over-breathing do that? I mean, it makes sense to me. You know what? Why? Answer, because the lungs create DMT, which activates and cleans your pineal. You know, which is why you're able to see through your asshole when you're done doing this. Yeah. You can see out of every orifice in your body. You know, I mean, it doesn't make a difference where you put your mentality. It's there. You know? Some places are better than others. Who cares? It's all good.
Mike, have you got anything else to say?
We're going to do it with the chi activation chi activation just now. Okay, chi activation is do the breathing, heavy breathing. We'll do it. Okay. Then you breathe all the air out. And then you breathe all the air out and you lock down, you hold your breath. And while you're doing, when you're doing that, when you start to struggle for air, you relax just a little bit and go a little bit longer. You'd be surprised how long you can hold your breath. Okay? It causes the body to make steroids. Yeah? Well, yeah, and you're making DMT, yeah? And you're making steroids, and you're doing an isometric. So you're locking in the muscle memory an image of yourself that you want to impose upon this body. Then, and the really neat thing is that it's chi. You start at your feet and you cramp your feet, or isometric, you know, exercise, lock them up, clench them, clench in your calves and your thighs. You get to your hips. When you get to your hips, we also create chi with our hands. You know, hold your hands like that. Feel the energy. Okay? Feel the energy. It's going to get while we're doing the breathing, it's going to get a lot more powerful. Then you take that energy and you put it in here, okay, into your root chakra and in the lower chakras. And so then when you're clenching your muscles and you're coming up, when you get to the hip area, you clench, including your perineum, you know, the muscle at the bottom, and that forces the energy up your spine. And then you, at the same time, you roll your tongue back, and the energy comes up your spine and goes right into your brain, and that's what you do. You go up and go into the cave of Brahman. You're holding your breath. Your body's totally locked up, but you don't know it because you're up here, and it's so easy. As you've done the chi, you raise the chi up, and it's in your, and you just, your eyes are closed, and you just kind of look up, and you look into your third eye. You're there, you know, and you start seeing stuff, you know, and the main thing you see is your bubble genie. You see a purple entity, you know, light purple, you know, but other things too, you know. I mean, it's your third eye. It's your, you know, you got control of it. First of all, we're going to introduce you to it, and We're introducing you to your pineal and your pituitary and the cave of Brahman. When in the cave of Brahman, this is something, I mean, in the spiritual things they know, and you get the energy cascading through the cave of Brahman, causes the white powder gold to manifest on the third eye right there, okay? And they show it as orange, with Sai Baba and all those guys. It's actually gray, but they manifest it as orange. Those guys, I have a real problem with all of them, with Sai Baba, Babaji. They don't teach telepathy, and they don't teach people how to do what they do, which can be done, They haven't done it. Why? Probably because hopefully there's an event coming, and we're all going to become enlightened like that anyway. We don't need the event. We can change the entire planet with this, okay? We need 50,000 bubbles, and we go to dream time. Okay, all right, so chi activation. All right, so heavy breathing.
The machine's off.
Huh?
You say the machine is off. How are you going to do it then?
You don't need the machine.
You don't need the machine.
No, you just do the breathing and do what I described. You do the breathing, and then you breathe all your air out, and then you hold your breath. You roll your tongue back in your mouth, and you've put the energy into your root chakra. You raise that energy up into the cave of Brahman, and that's what you watch. Meanwhile, all the muscles in your body are rigid, or close to it. You don't have to really have it hard, but just enough. And this is like the exact opposite of every meditative technique you've ever been told, where you're supposed to relax. Might be a clue that this works better than that. It works way, way better. There's no. Huh? Okay. All right. So we got to do the chi activation. So heavy breathing. Breathe all air out. Hold your breath. Clench your muscles all the way up to the top. Watch into the cave of Brahman. Put your ball of energy in your abdomen. So we start like this. Ready? Get it right here. Feel it? Okay. And the breathing is like this, and we just start breathing, and we stop when we start hyperventilating. And unison. Put your ball of energy in your abdomen. Start clenching and come up. When you get to your hips, you float that energy up to your cave of Brahman. Do it now. Roll your tongue back. When you come out of it, put your thumb and forefingers together like that, and feel the energy just rocketing around you, and you kind of feel it's very close to cloud 9. All around you, you're in your own little bubble, and you can kind of feel it as you move your hand around. It's like in a fluid field. And then you do it again. You do it for 20 minutes twice a day. In the case of the men, you'll have a major problem with your manhood. It'll wake you up in the morning. Yeah. So anyway, and then you get one of these bubbles and you do it in it, you start having magical experiences like what's going on here. Now it's continuous magical experiences. And you get on the bubble tech, you look at 172 comments. Each one of them is magical, mind-boggling, defies the laws of physics and so on. Yes, question?
How do you make them?
You buy a concrete block. You go find a concrete block and a violet ray wand. The Violet Ray one. The Violet
We've
Ray
done
one.
that. We've done all that on the basis. It's in great detail, and Christina helped build it, and that's what we built there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for Mike Emery and the Chi Energy.
Janet. Oh, John. Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much. And just as we may have seen on screen, that there has been a sighting of an Irish Bigfoot.
Wow.
That's on that posting from Yvonne McConnell, who is a brilliant researcher in the Northern Ireland UFO research. So you saw it live happening here. And thank you to Mike once again, and give you everybody else a round of applause. We're going to finish the evening with Caroline, and I'm running out of media and running out of battery, so we need to leave pretty soon. So could she come to the stage and get herself wired up and give us a...